Hello, anybody, somebody, nobody. Whoever may never see this is Siegfried Alexander Faust, the Whiff, coming back at you with some more top 10 lists. I'm going to have, oh no, spoilers! Top 10 anime what the fuck shows slash moments. And this, of course, is subjective. There's going to be some major plot spoilers, movie show spoilers. I might have stuff spelled incorrectly. And if I make any mistakes, like I've done previously in another gaming video, please call me out on it. But yeah, this is some subjective stuff. I think it's just really weird or outlandish, etc. from anime. And with that said, let's get talking. I'm gonna have an honorable mention at the end as well. So, Boku no Pico. Literally, when I search for an image, like the explanation is right here. Boku no Pico is notorious because way too many people are tricked into watching it. Then people get disappointed and they trick other people into watching it. It's not very good. And it's like this rom-com yaoi guy on guy trap thing. So it's twink dudes that act like girls, or almost you think are girls, but they're guys. And the story's not even that good. Like, I think it was like Peach Girl or some other show. There's a couple animes that actually got me involved into the relationships. I tried to watch this because I got tricked into it. It's bad. And so it's just literally a meme where it's like, oh yeah, oh you want to watch an anime? Here, watch this. Now, one of the things I didn't include on this list, and it's not even an honorable mention, it's like Bible Black, because that's a straight up hentai. But that's the thing with anime. It's like people think either Speed Racer or Tentacle Monsters, and it's like no, it's not like that. But it's like you give people this, it's like God damn it, Boku no Pico. Angel Beats. I felt bad putting it here because it's on two different lists, but I don't give a fuck. So it's actually kind of wacky and deep and sad, and it only gets sadder. And the reason I think it's here on my list is because I didn't expect it to be like this. Most animes set a precedence early on, or even halfway. This kind of transitions into a very sad, solemn, sad, wholesome anime. And so, just so sad. And so, I just didn't see it coming. And the spoiler that it's purgatory. And for some reason, it made me feel like it's similar to Charlotte. Overall, which also, if I was going to take this off, because it's already on another list, I would have put Charlotte here. But yeah, the narrative doesn't fit the ending. But damn, it's good. And so you're like left at the end like, well, okay, the roller coaster's over, I guess. The Ghost Stories English dub version. Leave me alone. I'm doing my standard anime elbows up pose. And there's a couple other ones like Verizon. Just like Jesus, it'll always be there for you. I can't even, like, just some other ones are actually dark, but it's like, this was, I just, like, died laughing when I was typing. I was like, this fucking show, I can't, still struggle. So, like, the group that was given permissions, that was contracted out to do the dub for it, was just so horrendously bad that they just made like all these silly jokes, and even the sub made some of them, but the English dub just fully embraced it and became this, I don't know, train wreck of a show where they're constantly just saying things that are wacky and don't make sense, and they're meta breaking, fourth wall breaking, and like they're just constantly poking fun of religion, and none of this is integral to the story. Like the shit is just wacky. And the thing is it's not how the anime's supposed to be. The fucking, like, some animes are derpy on purpose. That's, it's a comic relief anime. It's supposed to be a clown posse. Sure. This isn't. And so, it's a big WTF. Fuck you. Like, it literally, it's an, a AMV parody, except it's canonically a parody in a weird way because it got bastardized canonically. So you don't even need to make a parody, like rip over and lip over the dialogue audio. No, it's already fucked up, and that's just how it is. and it's so fucking funny to listen to. And you think it's like made by some goofballs, but literally it's the official audio that just doesn't match with shit that happens. It's so funny. School Days starts off as basically PG, slice of life, romantic, where like this friend on the left is helping a guy talk to the girl on the right and kind of get over being an insecure incel. And you know, it's just like living off their high school days and being students, and you know, life is hard. And it turns into PG-13, romantic, visual novel, kind of, where the guy proceeds to like talk to that girl, and then he goes back and forth in a relationship, proceeds to have relationships with the girl on his girl slash friend on the left, and other characters, just fucking them all. And then it turns into R, where the one on the left stabs him to death, guts him and then the one on the right guts her open on a fight on the top of the apartment building with a knife fight, guts her open, cuts off her boyfriend's head, drinks poison, and sails to the sunset on a fucking yacht. That's all in the last episode. The last episode is like R. The other 2 to 3 episodes before that, PG-13. The entire rest of the show, basically PG. There's no reason it wouldn't be PG. So it is like so random how it just from left field transitions. This is another one with Boku no Pico you just recommend to people because they enjoy, oh, you know, it's a little slice of life high school story. Oh, they have some romantic interests. Oh, it's getting serious now. Okay. Oh God. Like, what happens? Yeah, School Days. Bo. Tall black man with blonde afro attacks with the martial art mastery of his nose hairs. And he teams up with others to fight an evil corporation, to include some Gumby looking motherfuckers, like literally like Gumby on the left and the Teletubby son on the right. And like he teams up with them over time, and it's so weird. And now this is a comedic relief show, but it's just notoriously weird. Like literally 7-foot tall black man with blonde afro attacks evil capitalism with his martial art nose hairs. Like he literally has giant nose hairs and he uses them for kung fu. Like dogs like groaning him, walking all over the place. I had a shit ton of Taco Bell last night, and it is coming back to hurt me. The Quasar of Stigmata, Seikon no Quasar. The periodic table, magic battles, and titty mana. So, this show is underrated. It makes me mad. Because, literally, this dude fights with, like, a scythe, kind of like Grim Reaper-y style, of course. You know, that it's all too common in anime. And, there's, like, vampires and, like, robot battles and stuff. But they battle using mastery of the periodic table of elements in different ways. And I'm like, oh, that's super cool. So it's kind of like if Full Metal Alchemist battled literally using, it says like, oh, I touched the ground and I combine all these elements to make a spear. Where it's like, no, my ability is the complete mastery over, like, you know, sodium. And it's like all the different ways you can use that to interact with different things in your environment. And it's like all this different stuff. So it's super cool. I love that. And they have magic battles. But the plot is all over the fucking place, and a lot of characters have giant tits. Life energy is best transmitted through the booba. And so, the thing is like, oh, I'm low on energy mana. Let me suck some booba. And that's literally how people get more booba energy. And there's even one on, like, I think this character on the right, like, she's one of the people, like, side antagonists, kind of. And she has no booba. And so she, like, abducts women for their booba. So she can gain more power for when she fights using science sorcery. The antagonist in the show, because it did not catch up to the manga, possesses someone with the biggest booba. So he/she can suck her own booba. And through her own titty milk, her nipples of power, she gains unlimited power, because as he spends power, he gets it back from his own possessed life energy. And so he, like, unlimited power! Just Palpatine with giant knockers. It is so weird, but so funny. And I feel betrayed on the combat being as good as it was. It's not like, there's a lot of animes, like when I do the anime rage video, there's, that's way better. But, like, it's still not bad. And it's just, it has no place being here. Yasuga no Sora. In solitude where we are least alone. This is all about keeping it in the family. So the characters have some betrayal from their family, mistreatment, doubts, going through puberty, and they're dealing with, like, constantly being sick and not feeling like you have anyone to rely on, loving each other. But maybe a bit too much. Because it escalates to the brother and sister fucking. And they're going at it like rabbits. To the point where they're just, like, fucking all over their house. And, like, one of the other girl characters comes over, slams open their door, and they're just, like, they're fucking right in front of the door. Yup. Yasuga no Sora. Nothing else to say about that. Not a hentai. It's an anime. I don't even think, like, most hentais don't even approach that shit. And the way they did it made it feel organic, which is, like, making the incest more of an issue. Like, it's not like some manic, crazy thing that's, like, high emotion. Redo of the Healer! So, similar to Goblin Slayer, which, spoiler, is going to come up on this list, I'm surprised this even aired. While I was surprised Goblin Slayer Episode 1 aired, I was far more surprised that this was greenlit as an anime. Now, there's an uncensored version and a censored version. The censored version is censored as hell. They just straight up cut scenes out. It's just like you hear changed audio and a bunch of white on the screen. It's like 90% of the screen is whited out. Like, you just can't see anything. It's super censored. To the point where it's like, why is this even on? And then the uncensored is still censored. Why? I don't like it when anime is, like, uncensored and it's just like a little smiley, like, thing over the girl's nipples and shit in anime. Or on the dude's dick. Like, I don't know. To me, that's not what uncensored means. Call me crazy. Anywho, this is a revenge story. This is a gender equality revenge story. Of misogynism. So, misogynistic, or being misogynist, is when, a dude is mistreating, discriminating against women, etc. Or society. So this dude is in another world and becomes a hero of power. He has the ability to heal. There's, like, one that's for magic, one that's for guns, another one that's for swords and shit, whatever. So all of them mistreat him and use him as a gimp. And they beat the shit out of him, sodomize him, drug him, torture him, because they can. And it also is, honestly, from their perspective, more efficient for their team to do this. Because when he heals people, it's kind of like Green Mile, where he absorbs their pain. He doesn't just make their pain magically go away and their damage. He, like, absorbs it into him. And so if they just had their arm, like, cut off, he will heal their arm back up, but it feels like his arm was just butchered off. And it's actually even worse. And so he just doesn't even want to heal people. And so they do all these terrible things to him because his mind is, like, broken, and to get him to heal people. Because he's just far stronger than even the best healing potions. They also think of it like, well, if we have healing potions, why do we even need you? And so the heroes fight and kill the Demon King, Demon Lord, and they get the Philosopher's Stone, magical artifact that's, like, all powerful. Dude runs up, like, naked while they're all bickering and basically wishes to just go back before all this shit happened. And it works. His memory goes back with everything still remembered to before he was even recruited by the princess to join the other heroes. He proceeds to start poisoning himself when he's early to build up a resistance to the poison they're going to give him later on. And because he knows all these people that put on this smile as heroes and lords and ladies, nobility, are actually fucked up, depraved people with malice, hedonism, and are just super fucked up in the head and have no morality to speak of. And so, he proceeds to then, and this is like all episode 1 into episode 2, to take the princess, break her fingers continuously, healing them and breaking them again, brand her, or threaten to brand her, choking them to death, torturing other people, dismembering them, and proceeds to fuck them back. Because they were using him as a sex slave, so he does it back. And the thing is it's graphic, it's fucked up, and it's, you know, it's some hard-hitting storytelling that a lot of people, when it's like, well, that's not okay. And it's like, well, so was it okay when it happened to him? And then they'll just, like, deflect and say it shouldn't even be aired. And so it's hard, heavy, hitting, mature storytelling. It's very graphic. Anywho, all of that was an explanation of the show. What's fucked is this airs on, like, a kid's TV channel in Japan. It was greenlit. And I think the original thing that aired was the uncensored. And then, it, you know, the people in the West, they're like, oh, you know, Asian cartoons, anime, sure, whatever. And it's like, here's some anime to watch. A dude, like, branding a chick and just, like, fucking her repeatedly. And then he warps and mind controls her, plants fake memories to make her, like, his maid slave. And then he gains more characters. And the thing is besides him getting revenge, he actually is, like, nice to people. And he is making the world a better place. You may not like how he's doing it, but he is. And so it's a protagonist story that is most uncanny to the status quo. That was a long time talking about that. Early 4Kids anime. Now, there's a lot of other examples I'm not using, but this is just a quick one. Finger guns. So, in 4Kids in the West, anime was heavily modified. I think the 3 big ones I didn't mention here is also Sailor Moon. So, One Piece, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Sailor Moon. One Piece had many instances where, like, cigarettes were changed into lollipops or smoke, and blood was changed into just scratches. Like, nobody actually got hurt. Everyone just had scratches or battle damage, or they were just exhausted. Everyone's fighting to death, but no one's actually hurt. Yu-Gi-Oh! Guns get replaced for finger guns. It is quite odd. Quite odd to say the least. I didn't know this because I watched the 4Kids Western America version of some of these shows, and so it's like, oh, that the right image is just how I thought it was. It's like, no! They took their guns away. They took their cigarettes away. They got rid of Booba in other scenes. They covered up Booba and other stuff. And then Sailor Moon is another example. I didn't write down, and I'm so glad I remembered. Where the West is just cringe. So there's a lesbian relationship in Sailor Moon. We can't have that in America. We don't support that. So we're gonna make them cousins instead, and they're just gonna be family, staring longingly into each other's eyes and, like, flirting, because that makes it all right. Hoo-wee, America! It's like, you made it worse, you fucks. Oh god, I hope I'm not being too loud, but, like, shit is so wonky. Goblin Slayer episode 1. So, this is like number 9, number 10 on this list now. This made me laugh, as I was surprised it even aired. I mentioned that. And so it was also very one-to-one to the manga. It was very accurate. However, it also aired on a kid's channel in Japan. This was, this predated Redo of the Healer. So I was surprised this happened by a lot. And then, the thing is that episode 1 is the darkest episode. After that, there's other dark moments, but they're not nearly this bad. You see some adventures. They go in, they get cocky, they get butchered, tortured, and then all the women get raped, basically, by monsters. and you kind of watch it happen. And again, this like imagine this is just like Channel 11 morning cartoons or like late night cartoons. This just it aired, and so it's like, oh god, and they're like screaming as they're being raped, as one does, and so and I don't care if I'm saying the R word a bunch, like fuck the YouTube algorithm, and so, yeah, and then some people are pretty upsetty spaghetti about this that their kids watch this, or this came on TV. And so there was a lot of complaints. So immediately after episode 1, all the other episodes are followed up with warnings, and like they're predated with like all these like warning images and like caution. Not for episode 1 though. I wonder why that happened. Yeah, that girl right there, bad things happen. There's also right after like they're like raped and saved, their savior helps them one of them commit suicide, assisted suicide, because she's poisoned, and she's like, I'm not gonna survive anyway, please kill me. Honorable mention, Japanese schmale voice acting. So I am very annoyed by the all too common voices for little. It's actually in Japan. Okay, here's the thing. In Japan, some schools, the girls and the boys look almost the exact same, and they even like promote them being the same until they're a certain age. There's even one school where they like run around topless because you can't tell even if it's a girl or a boy, because they're like 4 years old or some shit. With that said, a lot of the younger characters are voiced by female voice actresses, and sometimes it sounds okay, but most of the time, maybe it's because I can actually like hear the difference. It's bad. It's exceedingly bad for some things. To include fucking Goku. Goku is probably the one that pisses me off the most. And in one of my other videos, I'm gonna have like Gohan when he turns Super Saiyan 2. Awesome. Japanese version, I don't think that's good. It's not nearly as hard hitting with the bass, etc., and momentous as it sounds in English. And some other stuff. It's like Voldemort, and if you listen to Voldemort laugh in different languages, like it's like oh, like some of them are just vastly different, and it doesn't necessarily need to be different because of the language. Because like you hear ah for Goku, and he turns into when it's Japanese. There's no reason for it to sound that different. They're not even speaking words. It's very cringe, squeaky sounds. And I hate it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. And it makes me mad because for Dragon Ball Super, it actually is like afflicted by this. They made Goku sound even more derpy than he was. And like actually never even sounded derpy in Dragon Ball Z, etc. But yeah, he / their anime industry, when they do the voices, it's just notoriously an issue, in my opinion, where they just, if you, Yu Hakusho, just take any anime, if you're an anime enthusiast, if you're not, I don't know why you're watching this, if you watch any anime, and you enjoy it, go watch the Japanese version, and just listen to just look up random scenes with different characters. Half of them will probably now be voiced, half of the men are probably now voiced by a woman. That is just how it is, and I don't like it. And I think it's possibly because of the industry. They don't let people go. There's a lot of retention or expectation, and if someone's bad, you gotta cut them. I don't know. It really ticks me off. With that said, if you like my content for some fucking reason, like, share, and subscribe. It really makes my day. And I hope you're enjoying yourself, having a wonderful day, and please check out my gaming content, where my last video was a major fuck up. Take care and game on. Later.